Good evening. This is Driving with the Myles. Today we're going to talk about a general Q&A. These are questions that I get from my students around the world. So let's go ahead and get into it. Um, how do I book my driving times? Typically, when I'm teaching a classroom session, it takes about 25 minutes to half an hour to schedule students. Some states or provinces, it could be 6 drives, it could be 8 drives, it could be 10 drives. Some parents order the 8 drive package, the 9 drive package. It really depends on where parents, your guardians, feel you are in the driver's education process. And that's usually handled through the main office. The next question is it easier to drive an automatic than a manual? Manual is a lot more fun, but it's a lot more difficult. And I would say timing between your foot, the clutch and the gas and shifting. But it can be fun. I do know how to drive a manual. I did learn on my own. It was a horrible experience, but I learned. I picked up my cousin and we were in a Volkswagen, and let's just say I struggled pulling off from the light. But eventually, you learn how to let that clutch up real easy and feed it gas. But for the first few minutes, I just wanted to crawl under a rock. But it was a good learning experience, and you do need to learn because you may have an uncle or auntie somewhere in the States and say, hey, I got a car for you. It's a manual. Just come down and get it. So you got to remember some of those things. Can I change my driving instructor throughout the lesson? Typically, I like to see students stay with the same instructor. Why? You're bonding with that instructor. You're connecting with them, how they talk, how they act, how caring they are. It's really about relationships. It's more than just teaching someone how to drive. You're giving them a skill for the future. And I know all of you who are watching this around the world, you remember if you had a really nice caring instructor, and you remember if you have a horrible instructor, and those memories will haunt you or love you for the rest of your life. How many lessons do I need? It varies on the person. Some states and provinces have a standard of a set number. It could be 4, it could be 6, it could be 8. That's something you and your instructor and the driving agency need to discuss. And it varies wildly in the states. So it's usually a set number. Then you have to take a knowledge test. Then when you're 16 or 17 or wherever your birthday lies over X number of months, you will take that driving test, that DMV test, that road test. What happens if I forget my license? If you're getting ready to take your road test, they won't drive you. Basically what we do, there need 4 hours of observation. So you have to have your book with you. The state requires 4 hours of observation, 6 hours of driving. And that's the minimum standard. Are driving lessons better at the beginning of the learning or toward the end? I think it depends on the student. Usually in the beginning, students are very nervous. From my experience, I've seen around 7 to 12 minutes, students relax. You get all that nervous energy out of your system. You feel comfortable, and then you really can connect. So it depends on the student. Some students need you to talk to them, give them support. Other students, they just need directions, go left, go right. At the second light, make a left. It depends on the student. And that's why I like to connect in class, build that relationship, do Quizlet, do Kahoot, a wide variety of learning games. And plus, I'm a teacher, so that kind of brings it more together on a personal, and I got a great sense of humor. So those things are important. So it varies on the student. I would say toward the middle, but I also see students losing focus and concentration 37, 42, 45, 50 minutes into the lesson. So parents, if you're going to be driving with your son or daughter, they can't drive from here to Toronto, right? You've got to really plan that out and build that endurance. How long until I'm able to get my license? It depends on your birthday, when you sign up for the class, how many lessons you need, the GDL period. So that varies depending upon birthdays and maturity level and experience. Should I learn to drive an automatic or a manual? I would say you need to learn how to drive both. Most vehicles In the United States, about 90% are automatic, but manuals do have a place, and I think you need to learn both. Obviously, if you're going to be taking a DMV test or road test with the manual, it requires a little bit more of dexterity with your foot, with the clutch, learning how to shift, learning how to shift and downshift or upshift. And if you jerk the car, you're going to lose points. But it can be done. Can I use my own car for the professional lessons? Yes. However, driver's ed cars have dual controls, dual mirrors. There's one on the passenger side, there's one on the driver's side. We have a brake on the passenger side. So there's that safety. And typically, to be honest with you, those first couple of lessons, students are very nervous, and I have that conversation, and they're getting ready to grow up. So as soon as parents leave, the heart beats. I have them come in, I adjust a seat for them, I show them how to adjust the mirrors, and I really want to make the learning experience very positive. Thanks for the thumbs up. That means a lot. The lesson typically lasts about an hour. I do private and adult lessons. It just depends on what the student needs, what the adult needs. Everyone is different. Some, it might just be parking maneuvers, parallel parking, reverse parallel parking, three-point turnaround, parking uphill, parking downhill, roundabouts, merging on the expressway. It really depends on where the student is and what they feel they need. I do DMV test prep for road tests also too. Where does the instructor pick me up from? Typically, we lay that out in the classroom, and because I'm teaching 25 to 36 students, typically it's at a high school, it's at a location that is well lit and safe for me as well as the student, and we clearly communicate to the parents where the pickup and drop-off area would be. I never leave students alone. If it's in the wintertime, you just wait in the car for the parent. I've had students who have to drive home. Things happen. So my students have my telephone number. They can text, they can call. Parents have my number. So it's all about open communication. Are there extra benefits from driving lessons? Yes, you're learning from a professional. You're learning from someone who's been in the industry, who wants to obviously get better. Every day I'm looking for new content. I'm doing new drills. The biggest things are reverse parallel park, are merging on the expressway, are making left-hand turns, are rules of the right of way, checking blind spots. Next, when I'm on my driving tests, should I drive slower in the rain? Yes. A lot of countries and provinces have the basic speed law. You need to drive at a speed that is reasonable and safe for the conditions on the road. I've done a lot of content in the snow and ice. It's very popular. I have this large SUV that's really powerful. So the reason that's had a lot of views, because I commentate, obviously with the GoPro or hands-free, but you've got to control your vehicle. Hey, what's up, Breezy? I'm doing multiple things. Give it a thumbs up. Ask some questions. So, we're talking about the benefits of taking it through a driving school. And I'm just going through some of the things. You're always welcome to ask questions. Ask questions. So if it's bad weather, obviously you want to drive with your headlights on. Most cars and trucks have daytime running lights for safety. And you have to be able to drive in hazardous conditions. If it's really bad, obviously we'll readjust the lesson, maybe push it back another day, because safety is no accident. I know that sounds a little funny, but it's true. Safety is no accident. What are some of the most common mistakes that people make? Not stopping completely, failing to understand the rules of the right of way, not looking over their shoulder, a poor gap. And a gap is a space between two cars. A lot of beginning drivers don't understand timing, and they pull right out in front of traffic. And that's probably one of the most scariest things that instructors that we have to deal with. So parents and students around the world, don't pull out in front of a car coming right at us. Wait, look for a gap. And I always communicate to my students. I talk to them, and it's about trust. I want my students to trust me. I want to trust them. And then that trust is earned. And then we go back and talk to the parents. I tell the parents how your son or daughter did. And it's always positive, never negative. Do I need to come to a full stop? Yes, you need to come to a full, complete stop. I like 3 seconds. You want to look left, right, left, make eye contact. If you don't believe me, go to a general mall, Mall of America, any place around the world. people usually don't stop, or they're confused on who has the right of way. Um, what should I see in my side mirror? A little bit of the car, right? You want to have those mirrors properly adjusted. I like my students to look ahead. For example, let's pretend I'm in a car. Here's my center mirror. I want to look up. I want to look to the left, look to the right. I shouldn't have to turn my head, because you want to keep your eyes on the road. You want to check your center mirror every 12 to 15 seconds. So that's super important. Am I ready to successfully pass my restricted license? It depends on you. If your mom and dad don't have time to take you out, they're too busy, then no, you don't have enough practical. You may be able to pass the test, but you don't have enough practical experience. An example would be you just pull right out in front of a car, or you blow a yellow light, or you roll a stop sign. All of those are driving errors, or you go 5 to 7 over the limit, or 7 to 10 under the limit. So those are some common examples that students will do. What is a blind spot? A blind spot, for instance, my blind spot is right here and right here. Oh, by the way, that's my content up there, Driving with Myles. If you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel. Give this a thumbs up. Push it out there. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm trying to keep growing, right? This is 2021, but I know I have to earn it. I've got to come here and give you good knowledge and let you apply it. And then I want feedback, right? So you got to know what that blind spot is. Do I have to parallel park? Yes, you have to reverse parallel park. Now, because of COVID, they've kind of modified some of the things. They might modify it in the parking lot. I've been reading comments from Quebec, Toronto, California. They have reduced the driving tests, and California has completely shut it down because of COVID. So it varies on the driving school. Call ahead, send an email, but mentally be prepared for that reverse parallel park. Be prepared for a 3-point turnaround. These are skills you need to learn. Okay. What about a roundabout? If you're going right, you're making a right turn, you need to signal your intention just before you enter. If you're going straight, you proceed straight, but you always need to yield. You always need to look, because that's a big source of confusion. Do I need to stop for at least 3 seconds? I like to see my students stop completely, motionless. Then if it's clear, then you proceed. So I just want to say thank you. I went over a question and answer session. These are questions that people have posted and asked me. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to Driving with Myles. I need you to have a blessed 2021. We have some great content coming on the way. Thank you so much for support.